Yes, esteemed colleagues, mangwanani, ndinotenda nemukana uno wekutaura nemi ndakamirira UNFPA. Good morning. It's a privilege to join you today on this significant occasion. I am filled with pride about my home country and delighted to celebrate with you the remarkable 30-year journey since the adoption of the visionary International Conference on Population and Development, ICPD, Program of Action. This life-changing framework has indeed set a global standard for putting people at the heart of development initiatives. This is a significant milestone that underscores the solid commitment of the government of Zimbabwe to lead and innovate within the ICPD agenda at both regional and national levels. Your efforts are commendable, from hosting the Partners in Population and Development Conference to the submission of the National Report for the 10-year review of the Addis Ababa Declaration on Population and Development, and the efforts to increase domestic financing of family planning commodities. These underscore Zimbabwe's role as a pillar of excellence in people-centered development. Reflecting on the last 3 decades, we have witnessed monumental progress across Africa and globally, and these are driven by the ICPD principles of dignity and human rights. This progress is not just historical, it is foundational for the ambitious goals set forth in Africa's Vision 2063 and Zimbabwe's Vision 2030. The Cairo Promise, which envisaged universal access to sexual and reproductive health as a cornerstone of sustainable development, remains as critical and relevant today as ever. The stakes are high, and the cost of inaction is immense, particularly for our most vulnerable populations. I am reminded of Carol Piri, a 43-year-old from the remote Mbire district. She is a survivor of gender-based violence and now a champion for hundreds of women and girls. Her story exemplifies the challenges many women face in our country, the region, and the world, and how our work can transform one life with ripple effects towards hundreds of others. Through collaborations like those spearheaded by UNFPA, the government, and partners, we are actively breaking the cycle of violence, ensuring that survivors in even the most isolated areas receive crucial services and information. Our urgent, concerted action is essential to honor and fulfill the commitments made 30 years ago. Esteemed guests, today we also proudly launch UNFPA's flagship 2024 State of the World Population Report. This year's theme, Interwoven Lives, Threads of Hope, highlights the urgent need to address persistent inequalities in sexual and reproductive health rights to achieve our shared goals. Our world right now is currently facing a complex humanitarian crisis, worsened by climate change, economic instability, and the aftermath of COVID-19. These challenges increase the risk of gender-based violence and hinder access to essential sexual and reproductive health services. This emphasizes the need for our continued commitment to provide support and empowerment. While we have made significant strides, including a dramatic reduction in maternal mortality and the expansion of contraceptive use, the region remains the epicenter of HIV. But Zimbabwe reached its 1990 target, a triumph to celebrate in the region. However, challenges remain, particularly in East and Southern Africa, which continue to face disproportionate impacts from health and gender-based disparities. As we look forward, I call on the government of Zimbabwe to continue its leadership and advocacy in promoting inclusive economic policies, advancing women's and girls' health and rights, and enhancing human capital through critical investments. In partnership, UNFPA is committed to supporting Zimbabwe in its efforts to ensure that every pregnancy is wanted, every childbirth is safe, and every young person's potential is fully realized. We can do this together by strengthening inclusive economic policies and reforms that create decent jobs and empower young people. Women and girls' health and rights with a focus on reducing the high rates of adolescent pregnancy and child marriage, human capital development through investments in health, including family planning, alongside the school re-entry policy for girls who drop out of school due to pregnancy and child marriage. Dear guests, your leadership will be crucial as we approach key global forums, including the 57th session of the UN Commission on Population and Development and the 2024 Summit of the Future. I eagerly anticipate the outcomes and insights of these high-level meetings. Together, we will continue to strive for a future where every individual's rights and well-being are upheld. Ndatenda, thank you for your commitment, your leadership, and your partnership.